Hotel management reservations. Start with hotel management reservations. When this first comes up, it'll give you an alphabetical listing of all the current bookings on the system. To locate a specific booking, just start typing the first three letters of the last name and it'll take you to the first match for the one you want. In our case, we want to create a new booking, so we're going to double click at create another reservation. First thing you should do is put in the arrival date for this new booking. You can either type in the date directly or you can use the calendar icon to pick it from a calendar with your mouse. As soon as you put in the arrival date, the availability at the top of the screen will convert to show you the availability for that arrival date for the next 7 days. Put in the number of nights or set the departure date, whichever you prefer. Set the number of adults, number of children, and then click on the room type to select the room type. Next will appear is my available rates for that time period for that room type. Keep in mind, depending on how your hotel management is set up, it may not have the same screens appearing. Now I can just double click on the appropriate rate that I want, and it'll take me into the booking details screen. In the booking details, to link it to a member, I can either just type in the member number and press enter, or I can click on the lookup and search by last name. When you pull up the member, it'll automatically pre-fill all the fields with the information that's stored on the member database. The main address that will come in will be the standard main address or home address on the main part of the member database. You do have an option to click this M to the right, which will switch it to the business address that's stored on the member database. You can edit the phone number and email on this booking if you like, but keep in mind this will not affect the member database entries. It'll only change it on this one particular booking. The sponsor flag is normally used in a setup where every booking has to be linked to a member. So it's either the member staying in the room, as we have here, or I'll flag sponsor, which means that the member is not physically staying in the room, but they're sponsoring a guest who will be coming in. So as soon as I click sponsor, it'll take me to the last name field so that I can fill in the appropriate details for the guest of that member who's going to be coming in. On the right hand side, I'm going to select the settlement. It's a member, so I'm going to pick account. Depending on what you have set up, if you take credit cards, you could pick the appropriate credit card code and then get the credit card information from that guest. If you're using market codes, you can click on this and select a market code. I'm currently using my market codes to track where they heard about the booking, as I'm currently configured to be able to take member bookings and non-member bookings directly. You may not be using this if you're dealing with members only, but you may use it for tracking other demographic information. If you pay travel agent commissions on bookings, then this is where you can link it into a travel agent. You can also set the travel agent up on the go if it's a new one. Underneath the setup for each travel agent is where you can dictate the percentage of commission that they're going to receive. If you're using Jonas Accounts Payable, we can tie this in directly to an accounts payable vendor so that when this person checks out, the system will automatically calculate a commission and generate an invoice in accounts payable to be paid back out to that travel agent. We don't use corporate codes. The Build To group is used to link an individual booking back to a group booking. For more information on anything to do with group bookings, please refer to the hotel group booking video. This banquet and catering field is used for our clients that are using the banquet and catering module in the core system. This allows you to link this particular room to an event that you have booked in the catering module. Our room type and rate type were already filled in the first screen, so at this point I'm going to click OK. The guest preferences screen will pop up. The top portion of this screen is client defined. There are fields that you can set up to track other demographic information for every booking. The history and comment notes are just open fields for putting generic notes or comments about this booking. If you are pre-booking rooms or pre-blocking rooms, then at this point you will probably want to click on block rooms to assign a specific room to this booking. When you click on this, you have two options. You can do the lookup or the calendar icon. It's always best with reservations to use the calendar icon. This lookup will show you the rooms and their current status, but it's based on today's status. Whereas the calendar icon will give me the status of those rooms for that person's arrival date. Now at this point I can just click on the appropriate room that I want for that booking. Daily charges can be used if you want to add an additional charge. It's going to be posted automatically. For instance, if you charge for parking or newspaper delivery, or if we have a special housekeeping fee that we attach, then I can link it to the appropriate billing code and give it the amount that I want billed. The frequency dictates when it's going to be billed. Nightly on every night audit run, arrival, which would be on the first night audit after they arrived, or departure, which will be on the last night audit the day before they leave. At this point, you can click OK. Depending on your system setup, it may take you into post a charge for a payment or a deposit. In my case, I'm just going to get out of here. We're not going to do that. And then it'll generate a reservation number and reconfirm the pre-assigned room. Now, we normally do recommend that this next step is activated on your system, which is every time you make a booking, the system will generate a one-page document that has the details of that booking. This is not meant to be handed out to the guests or the people booking. It's meant as an internal document that has the details of the booking as a backup to the system. The other option that we run into is where this member or this guest wants to book an additional room for the same time or for a different date. You can obviously just create the booking from scratch as you normally would, or you can take a shortcut, which is pull up the existing booking, and on the right hand side you have an option for copy. If I click copy, it's going to make a carbon copy of that booking. So at this point it's going to ask me which room do I want to assign. I am actually going to exit out of that without assigning it. I want to switch this to, first of all, it's going to be a sponsor, so it's going to be a different person coming in. And I'd fill in their appropriate details for the booking, and then I'm going to change them to a different room type. And now I go to block rooms, click on the calendar, and block the appropriate room for them. Now, one of the advantages of using the copy is, of course, speed, because it'll make it a lot quicker to take the booking rather than doing it from scratch. But the other advantage of doing it through that copy function is that when you access either of those bookings, there'll actually be a small note on there to show that they are linked. It has nothing to do with the billing. They are still going to get two separate folios and be expected to pay separately. It's simply a note that says this was copied from another booking so that we know there's some sort of connection between the two. This can be especially handy when you have member and guest of members staying at the same time, so you can see that they're connected for some reason. And that's the reservation process.